So we did a study recently when we went out to CISOs and said, what are the things that you feel that you're not getting in terms from your vendors? What are the things that you feel are really, challenging your role? And I think one of the things that they get quite frustrated with is a lack of partnership. They feel that everyone's trying to sell them something, but nobody wants to partner and understand what their problems are and truly help them fix their problems. It's just too many people trying to sell them things. It's like a mismatch between the vendor's goals and the CISO's goals, and that's an issue, right? And I guess that must be a challenge as well as a recruiter, because there's a lot of recruiters. I think it's fair to say, some recruiters have got a bad name because all they want to try and do is just sell, and they're not interested in what the goals of the CISO are. How do Henderson Scott differentiate? How do you act as more of a partner towards?
I think we always seek to partner, and it's a sort of cheesy expression, but it actually is true. I think what we want to be on a level playing field with our clients. We want to be consultative. Through the knowledge of the market, we actually, when required, we want to be able to challenge our client, and we want them to be willing to listen. To get good people in the market is not easy. Having a partnership and a recruitment company that you trust and that is going to take your brand and your message and your cultural fit out to the market in the right way, for me that's imperative. If I was a hiring manager, I'd be picking my recruiters carefully because unfortunately, because of the buoyancy of the market, as you say, there's probably never been a time where there's more security recruiters out there. Without doubt, some of these guys that are allegedly specialists probably haven't been in the market for very long at all. So LinkedIn can help. I think things like that. It's pretty easy now. Certainly easier than it used to be to go and actually do a bit of digging on people and understand. Okay, well, you're saying all this. Let's have a look at your background. Let's see whether you've got any references on LinkedIn, and do a bit of sanity checking and due diligence in that way. But I think for companies, and our approach is, we want to spend time with our customers. We want to understand what the challenges are that they have. We want to understand their environment, the cultural fit, because that's going to differ from company to company.
Of course, that's really important.
If you're hiring a CISO for a big bank, it's going to be a different sort of character than you're going to require perhaps within a large government department, for example, and different again perhaps for a retailer. So all of those types of organisations have some common challenges that they all face, but they also have unique challenges. And I think it's understanding that, so that really you can go out there and be an extension of the business is the way that I would see it.
Yeah. You must speak to a lot of candidates that are on the way out of their current organisations. They've reached the end and they've decided they want to find another job, which is why they're talking to you. What are the biggest frustrations that you see? What are the biggest things that complaints that you hear about previous employers?
Well, let's pick my words carefully here, I guess.
Yeah, of course.
I think there are challenges, and it probably comes back to, again, where companies are in their journey. Sometimes it's, that you're being asked to work all the hours that God sends, and wear 7 different hats, and actually, people expect that in the industry you need to work hard. Cyber is many things. It is not a 9-to-5 job.
It certainly isn't.
And people understand that, but at the same time, it shouldn't be a 24-hour-a-day job either. If it is, then one would suggest the company that you work for is doing it wrong, or they're trying to, they're not investing in the right way. So, I think really it's actually a lot of people that come and see us, they aren't necessarily disheartened or not enjoying where they are, but it's that they're getting approached proactively, and that's a big trend in the market, where someone might be relatively happy where they are, but they're getting tapped on the shoulder because of that skill shortage. We're looking at people that are perhaps already in roles to pull them out and put them somewhere else, and that obviously creates a cycle in itself.
Of course, That must be, and I don't take this as a criticism, this must make it very difficult, though, because, if you have a CISO in role for a relatively short period of time and they're being constantly approached and headhunted and then hired out of that role, that makes it really difficult for the organisation to have any consistency. I mean, it's not your fault, obviously.
yeah, absolutely. I think, I think it really comes down to the philosophy that company has towards cyber. Are you being given the tools, the budget, and the time to do what you want to do
a difference
in the right way? And also what is their attitude to cyber? Are they doing this under duress because they know they need to, or are they embracing it and looking at it as a real positive, and as I said earlier, looking at a way to enable business and do stuff in a bit more creative way.
Yeah.
That sort of organisation probably is where most CISOs would love to work. Somewhere that you get all of the opportunities that you want to really go out and be creative and try and get ahead of the curve rather than constantly be firefighting.
Yeah. So it's getting that right balance between having the time to sit down and come up with a plan and putting out fires as well. I mean, you've got to make sure you give your CISOs enough time to do both, right? I mean,
I mean, you've got to remember that these ladies and gents aren't there alone, right? Invariably, they're going to have a team of people around them that are going to help them put these fires out. But ultimately, it's a constant challenge. The amount of times that companies are potentially getting breached, and that this is a 24/7 times 365 issue. They're always on, these guys. So I think it is tough, but I think the good companies and the good CISOs, of course, they have one eye on where we are now and one eye on where we need to be.
Of course, the good CISOs.
Yeah.
We hear a lot about there not being enough females in our industry, and I think that that's definitely true.
It is.
Now, what's your opinion as to why that is?
Well, I think that's a big question.
It is a big
question.
Think it is. It is.
I think we.
I mean, do you, for example, do you see discrimination at employee level, like an employer level, or is it more that there aren't enough? There's not. Really,
I think there's fundamentally not enough.
That's
no,
great.
I think. I think I read a study a few years ago, and I think for a number of years now it's been felt that the sort of average level of females in cyber is around 10%.
10%.
I read a report actually just a couple of weeks ago by, I think, Cybersecurity Ventures, and they were talking that actually by the end of this year they would predict that actually it's going to get closer to 20%. Now that's pretty good. It's progress, but it's still 80% that are men. That being the case, I think it's a difficult problem to solve. I think. There's some really good things being done in the industry to help solve it, but it's not going to happen overnight, obviously. People like Jane Franklin and other high-profile figures in the industry are doing some fantastic work.
She does some great work.
And there are others as well that really fly the flag. And actually, a lot of other people in the industry. I've seen a number of high-profile speakers, that are not ladies, saying that they're not going to appear on panels that don't have at least one lady on them now.
Right,
Stuff like that can be done. I think is good. I think it's interesting we're talking about this on International Women's Day.
Yeah, of course.
That's another great thing that I think should be celebrated, and it is. But you've got to look at the sort of grassroots level as well.
Is there the pipeline of candidates coming out of the universities? Enough?
I think certainly if you look at the universities now, I mean, there's a number of good universities. I think if you looked 10 years ago, there's been a massive change there from the education system. But again, that takes time to come through.
Of course,
so I'm sure if we sat here and had this conversation in another 10 years, absolutely, we'd maybe be looking at 30% perhaps, or 25. I think the improvement's going to continue.
Absolutely.
But I don't necessarily see a time where we're on a level playing field where it's 50-50. I hope we get to that point. And I know certain security teams where they've got where they have a really good blend, and others where perhaps they're trying to address that. We're certainly seeing some customers that are now asking us that we want a mixed shortlist. We don't want to see a list of just guys. We want some females on there. So I think there's some real positive moves and stances being made.
I think you've got to start really early as well. I mean, even I have three young daughters, and even in the primary school, like they're trying to encourage the girls as much as the boys to get into tech, and it's really good. And we're seeing much more of an equal balance of the girls wanting to attend these after-school computer clubs as much as, and that's really good.
I think it's fantastic. I've got a 6-year-old daughter myself, and my wife's view and I is that actually you can be whatever you want to be.
Absolutely.
You don't need to be constrained by stereotypes. So I think absolutely getting in at that early age, and that's the sort of age that we're talking about here. Not when kids are 11 and 12 and starting GCSEs. This is about getting in really early at that grassroots level, and it's not just about cyber or IT. It's it's technology careers as a whole.
As a whole. Yeah.
STEM careers full stop. There's not enough coming through. So I think all of these things are good, but of course they're not an overnight fix by any means.
No. It's going to take time, isn't it? Yeah, and I'm trying to change an entire broken culture in some regards as well. Yeah, Nathan, thank you so much for joining us today.
No
It's been
problem.
an absolute pleasure.
It's great
Thank
to be
you very
here.
much.